Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from Dynamic Boards and we advertise all the non-executive director roles from right across the UK. Today, I'm joined by Craig and Rachel from the board of Thrive Homes. They're advertising for a new chair, 2 new board members and 2 associate board members. So Craig, do you want to kick us off and tell us a little bit about Thrive Homes, how you got involved and what they do?
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I'm Craig O'Donnell, so I chair Thrive's Customer Colleague and Governance Committee. For my day job, I'm the Digital Innovation Head at Grosvenor, a 340-year-old property business. So very different to my life at Thrive and my day job. So Thrive owns and manages around 5,000 homes around the Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Buckinghamshire and Oxfordshire area. It has a mixture of tenure types, so social and affordable rent, intermediate rent, has some leasehold properties, some shared ownership, and some private market rent through its Thrive Places structure. And I guess Thrive for me is a business that is looking to grow. So we have an ambition to grow 15% as part of our strategic framework. And in this current economic climate, that is challenging. So we're looking at innovative ways that we can grow. I think we're very much on a journey in terms of being more focused on our customers. There's challenges around the regulatory framework and new customer satisfaction measures that are coming out. So we have to navigate that. But I think what impresses me most about Thrive is the team that we work with on a regular basis. I'm very impressed by both the exec and the rest of the team that we get exposure to at the board. The Thrive, I think, has very strong values and behaviours that are evident throughout their organisation. So it's a great team, and I'm proud to be part of that great team.
Oh, thank you, Craig. That's super. It's great that you're so positive about it. And Rachel, can you give us a bit of a sense of how the board's structured? What's it like? What's your role?
Sure. Yes, I'm Rachel Harris, and I'm Global Director of Corporate Services at the Center for Public Impact. It's a nonprofit with a mission to reimagine government, so it works for everyone. I am actually chair of the Audit and Risk Committee at Thrive Homes, as well as vice chair of the board. So we have multiple committees that support the work of Thrive Homes. Like I mentioned, Audit and Risk is one. Business Resilience and Growth is another. And then the third one is the Customer Colleague and Governance Committee. And each of those focuses on specific aspects that are kind of discussed in more detail at the committee level, and then the decisions are taken back up to the board for ratification. So it's kind of an exciting way to kind of organize our work to sort of do more detailed discussions at the committee level and then leave the more higher level discussions at board.
Thank you, Rachel. So you've mentioned there's sort of five seats around the boardroom available through this. One is the chair role. So first we'll come to that. So Craig, can you give us a sense of what it entails being chair of this board?
Yeah, I think the board is made up of a fairly diverse group of members from different backgrounds. But I think, as I mentioned, in terms of our strategic framework at Thrive, we're very much, we have certain pillars that we want to deliver for the business. One's being resilient with a strong financial base. So we G1 V2 rating. We've just recently had our IDA and come through with the G1 rating, which is very positive. We've got an ambition for growth. So as I mentioned at the start, we have a target of achieving 15% growth as part of our ambition. And so having somebody that can help the board navigate which is a challenging environment in terms of how we grow. We want to provide a fair deal for customers. So recently we've redefined our customer engagement model. We're wanting to get better insight into our customers. We're wanting to listen to them and change how we operate based on their feedback. So we very much want somebody that believes in rich data and insight that we might get from our customers, but is very passionate about leading a customer-centric business. And then ultimately, we want Thrive to be a good place to work. So having a chair that is a good focal point for the business and embodies that good place to work is really important. And then I think with many modern businesses, there are many challenges and opportunities. We've mentioned the financial climate that we operate in. So having somebody that has financial acumen and financial experience, I think, is important both at the chair level, but also at a member level. We have got the ESG agenda as well, so we're very much on the net zero pathway ourselves, and having somebody that can help us navigate how we decarbonise our housing stock is very important. As I mentioned, being customer centric, so being able to engage with our customers and being a focal point, being able to take Thrive to the next level of customer engagement, and then navigating an ever more complex regulatory environment as well. So it's a tough challenge, but I think that we're looking forward to very much having good candidates on board to help navigate those challenges.
Thank you, Craig. And does this person need to have been a chair before, or could this be their first chair role?
No, I think this could be the first chair role. I think what we're looking for is the right level of experience, the right behaviours and skills to help us as a board. So I don't think board experience, I think board experience is important, but I don't necessarily think that they've had to chair an organisation before.
That's super, thank you. And Rachel, so next we've got 2 board member opportunities here. Do they need board experience? Can you give us a bit of a sense of what you're looking for there?
Right. So, I mean, we're looking for people who, maybe they have some experience with boards, but not necessarily being a board member. So maybe in their executive role, they have interacted with the board, or they've been a trustee on the board of a charity. Obviously, if you have board experience, that's also very helpful, but there's a really good onboarding program that helps you understand kind of your roles and responsibilities as a board member. Really, we just want people who have really fantastic ideas to help us kind of grow, thrive in the areas that Craig highlighted, and making sure we're kind of steering the course on the strategic framework that we've set out and achieve the goals that we want over time.
That's super. And we mentioned there's 2 associate roles as well. I love it when we see associate roles come up, because there's definitely, you see more of a pipeline and opportunity on boards when you see that there's associate roles. So can you tell me a bit, Rachel, about that role as well?
Is that for the associates, those are roles that people really don't need to have any board experience. And the idea behind those is really to give people the opportunity to come in and understand the sort of different topics that we discuss at board level. We normally appoint them on a 1-year basis with a option to renew for 1 year. And there's also opportunities for that person to become a non-exec director themselves at the end of that. In fact, we have a person who's going through that process right now. From my personal experience, I don't recognize the difference between board members and these associate roles, because I think they provide equally valuable input and really good ideas to the discussions that we have.
Yeah, and it's great to make sure there's some fresh thinking there. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, I think if people might be scared about being an associate, we do provide learning development support for those individuals too. So both through mentorship through one of the existing board members, but also professional development as part of learning the housing sector a bit more. So we do engage with the associate through that time and want to develop them into ultimately becoming a full board member over the period.
Yeah, that's great. And I know they've got no voting rights, but they're very much contributing. I like that comment, Rachel, that you don't really know who's an associate and who's just a board member, and they're all remunerated roles. So I think that's really helpful. It's a great way to develop people. I often hear people say on non-exec adverts that say you need board experience. They're like, the irony here is if they all need board experience, where do I get the board experience? So that's where the associate role, I think, is a fantastic way to do that. So
yeah, it's only when it comes up for a voting matter that we actually realise we have an associate on the board. So I think, as Rachel said, but they contribute as much as anyone else does, and their opinion is heard as much as anyone else's.
That's great. And Craig, do you need to have worked in the housing sector?
No, I think is the short answer. So I'm not from the housing sector, so I work for a commercial real estate business. And my background is in technology, so actually I could probably not be the right candidate for any role if it was dependent on the housing experience. I think we're looking for diverse skill sets, diverse experience that can help challenge board colleagues, but also challenge the exec in terms of how we think differently for the future, how we deliver better for our customers. So no housing experience isn't required. We do provide development to be able to bring people up to speed with the nuances of the housing sector. Although somebody that's been on the board for 4 years. I'm still learning every single day. But also I think that there's opportunities to go and visit our properties and speak with customers. So I think, no, we're not looking for necessarily housing experience. We're looking for the right skill sets to help us achieve our strategic ambitions as a board.
That's brilliant. And you've mentioned financial skills in particular would be helpful around the boardroom.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we have some retirees that are coming up that have created these opportunities, which means we have a slight gap in the financial management area. I think people with some ESG credentials as well might be a good experience to have. We also, because of our growth ambitions, are looking for people with construction and development expertise as well. But certainly, I think the priority is looking for members that have financial expertise.
Yeah, and given there's 5 seats on this board, they don't all need to, so keep an open mind if you're watching this and you don't have that exact background yourself. But Craig, that's helpful to hear a couple of those points that you know would be useful. Whereabouts do you need to live to go for this board? I know some housing associations say you have to live right in the community. Can you give us a sense of that, Craig?
Yeah, so I don't live locally in the area, so Thrive, the head office in Hemel Hempstead, I live in Essex, so I have probably about an hour commute to Thrive for board meetings. So yes, we're not necessarily looking for people that live in the local area. We're looking for the right people to be a member of the board and provide diverse experience to help us. And I think in terms of travelling, as I say, I live an hour away. Committee meetings we do online, so that was a positive following COVID, where we decided that actually committee meetings we could do online, but board meetings we meet in person. And it's always good to go for board meetings and meet colleagues and meet fellow board members. But certainly, no, we're not looking for people that live in the area, but certainly will have a passion for the local area and they are part of the board.
Yeah, brilliant. And can you give us a sense, Craig, of the timings of those board meetings?
So the board and committee cycles are quarterly, and the board follows the committees fairly closely. So you have quite an intense period of being in Thrive mode, as I like to think of it. But boards are all meetings tend to be in a Monday afternoon. So board and committees on a Monday afternoon. So committees tend to be between 4 and 6. Board meetings are at the same time, but on a Monday for the board meeting, we often look to get colleagues together to have some lunch. We also have training webinars, so we might incorporate some of those into the board meeting schedule. And then every quarter we have strategic away days as well, which we all get together and discuss the probably less operational elements of the board and get together and discuss the more strategic elements. And those again are great opportunities for the board to get together and just get to know each other a little bit better outside of a traditional board meeting.
That sounds great. And you've got a full-time role alongside this. So have you found that it is possible to balance both? Yes,
no, definitely. And I think the one thing I would say is that my role at Thrive benefits what I do in a day-to-day role. I think particularly from developing my strategic agility, being able to learn from others, and that diverse mix of experience. So I think that time is always difficult. As I say, I think that the cycle of meetings tend to come together. So I think you can manage that fairly effectively. We do get together and on occasions to discuss other opportunities that we might want to invest in, or when we have things like the IDA that we might demand more time. But I think that the time is manageable. And as I say, I think the benefits of being part of a board benefit me hugely in terms of my role that I have on a day-to-day basis, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I mean, can I chime in?
Yeah, go for it.
I also work full time, and I think that's a really valid point. The fact that like what you learn on a board, you're able to take back to your position of employment. From my perspective, being global director of corporate services, I interact with actually have 4 boards in my exec role that I have to interact with, and I definitely have really good ideas about how to strengthen governance, how to strengthen risk management. As Craig said, like strategic thinking. These are all kind of really valuable skills that I bring back. So my employer is really supportive of any sort of board roles I take on, because they see the value that I come back with after the meetings. So yeah, I echo that sentiment.
You're maybe able to think in receive mode for the board as well when you're writing papers. That's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Chair, I know, Rachel, you started as a board member and you're now chairing a subcommittee. I'm imagining there may be opportunities like that for these new board members coming on as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have people who are, coming onto the board and going off the board at all times. And certainly if there is an area that people have a certain expertise in, then there will be opportunities. In my case, when I came on, I think I joined the Audit and Risk Committee and what is now known as the Customer Compliance and Governance, Compliance and Governance Committee. We changed the names in the last year, and then an opportunity came up for me to chair Audit and Risk. I was given some kind of opportunity to have some training to understand how to undertake that role, and I should say that there are opportunities to get together with people from other housing association boards to share ideas. For example, I'm going to be speaking at the National Housing Federation's Audit and Risk Conference in November, and so I'll be able to kind of share ideas with my colleagues there. So yeah, it's
a very collaborative sector, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah. So in terms of the diversity of the board and how you're representing customers, employees, communities, what's the mix like? And are there any particular backgrounds that you'd love to encourage people to apply from?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want a board that reflects the customer base that we're serving. And I will say that we probably aren't quite there at the moment. So we would encourage people from all backgrounds to apply, but certainly people from different socioeconomic backgrounds or ethnic and other identities are really valuable, because they bring a different perspective to the discussions that we have at board level, and can bring maybe some new ideas on how we can best serve our customers and achieve our goals under the strategic framework.
Yeah, great. And I know we're always encouraging people with disabilities to consider board roles, younger candidates. And yeah, I really hear your message there, that it's actually, there's a really big, wide open arms here to consider people from all sorts of backgrounds. So if you think you haven't met many non-exec directors that look like you before, then maybe you're just the kind of person that should be exploring this role.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Rachel and Craig. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic to meet you both and great to hear about your roles with Thrive.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.
Yeah, I hope it's given you a really good flavour, if you're watching this, of a little bit about what Thrive Homes are like. Obviously, you've got the candidate pack, the advert to read as well. All three of these roles are remunerated roles, and if you click on the link below, you'll be able to see all of the details. So lastly, I just wanted to wish anyone that's considering applying good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.